Hey guys, my name's Alberto, aka Destroyer 48, aka Subscribe for Nuts. Ha ha ha! I got a almond tree in the backyard. Today is a good day. Well, I'm still attached to this thing, this machine, and stuff like that, but I'm still kicking and rolling. Hopefully, I'll take this thing off soon. I got a couple of more days, and then antibiotics gives me antibiotics to fight infection because I had a problem with my foot. Anyways, let's get into it. Today, I'm gonna be going over the career of the late Dusty Rhodes. I will not. It's not my video. Is just not about this. Just going over this video. It's going after other material I seen on YouTube. Anything I remember about the man, I'm gonna be going over his review. But I did get this a while back, man. Probably like 10 years. It's called The American Dream: The Dusty Rhodes Story. And we used to push it here. The battery right now it says flying on a lightning bulb, baby. Flying in a lightning bulb, baby. Something like that. There is a championship belt. Dusty Rhodes carried some championship belts back in the day. So let's go into it. Let's go into Dusty Rhodes' story. Sorry, this man. I'm always afraid I have a pick arm, so I can't bend my arm so well. Hopefully, they get that soon so I can be 100%, so I can go over my videos more thoroughly. It's a pain in the butt. Anyways, so let's go over Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes' career, well, spanning, he was born in Texas, somewhere around Austin, I don't know where, somewhere around there. He mentions that he was the son of a plumber. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true. And that's very, but he would always say he was the son of a plumber. He always used that in his gimmick. I know he played some baseball. I think he was shortstop, they had said. Jim Ross had said. Back in his high school, college days. He got into wrestling. I think he lied about his age going into wrestling. And then I think he started with the AWA. Yeah, the AWA where he became tag teams with the infamous Outlaws. Him and Dick Murdoch. They would go on to feud with the Crusher and the Bruiser, Dick the Bruiser. They would go over them, trade tag team belts with them. They feud, man. They go at it. Later on, it is said in here again, the Dusty Rhodes documentary that he was going cross crunchy cross country. Dick Murdoch and Dusty Rhodes, they had to go travel doing dates, wrestling dates and all that. And it is said here in the story that one day Dusty was they were sleeping in a hotel or something, and he saw man, forget Dick Murdoch's BVDs, his underwear, whatever. He said, "Oh, I'm calling it a day. It's time to go." And he had told Dick Murdoch like, "Hey, it's time to go. I'm gonna split." So he ended up leaving Dick Murdoch, and he traveled around to other states on his own, leaving Dick Murdoch. And she said that Dick Murdoch didn't understand that he wanted to go into singles career. So I hold this up whenever I can. I know that then Dusty lands in Florida, where he ended up in Eddie Graham's promotion, and he started learning a lot from Eddie. Eddie was teaching him the ropes, teaching him about ring psychology, all that stuff, the promotion business, and all that. And he was still a heel, and I think at one time he was a tag team with Paxson, managed by Gary Hart, and at that point I think he was like wrestling on a tag team with Mike Graham, Eddie Graham's father, and then there Dusty Rhodes turned face. He was gonna be a good guy. He turned his back on Paxson and Gary Hart, and from there he becomes a good guy. He becomes very famous in Florida. And he just starts rocking in Florida, doing very well, getting very popular, moving around. He had his son Dustin. He didn't get to see Dustin that much because he was always traveling around and stuff like that. Um, I'm not sure, but around here, that's where he should be feuding with Terry Funk. I cannot find any of their matches, so if anybody can tell me, I feel like dumb because they said that he feuded with Terry Funk a lot. He feuded with the Assassins as well. The Assassins were the Assassin number one, Assassin number two. They're a masked tag team. And from Florida, he's gonna go to NWA Jim Crockett Promotions. So now I'm figuring out that because Dusty Rhodes started around the '60s. Sorry, I didn't mention that. And now he's gonna go to NWA Jim Crockett Promotions. He would already be in the business about 13, 15 years. That's just information I want to know, and if you guys want to know, cool, you got the information now. Now, when Dusty Rhodes gets to Jim Crockett Promotions, even before I get that, I did find footage in here where he went to the WWE and he wrestled superstar Billy Graham. Where we go with all these Grahams, man? And it was a big deal in WWE. And they wrestled there together. I watched it. It was pretty good. It was a decent match. Now let's go into where I left off with Dusty entering NWA Jim Crockett Promotions, which is my best. There he gets there and he starts feuding with the Horsemen. There is a match, something about Ric Flair in a steel cage with the Russians. The Russians jump. This, according to this, the Russians jump in on Ric Flair in the cage match, and then Dusty goes to help Ric Flair, and then the Andersons jump Dusty and they start beating him up. I don't know why, but according to Arn Anderson, he said that Ric Flair didn't like Dusty Rhodes. Arn Anderson didn't like Dusty Rhodes, so they jumped him. So that's where it began the feud. Now let's get into the Horsemen so we can know who we're talking about. The Horsemen at this time starting off with Ric Flair, Ole Anderson, Arn Anderson, and Tully Blanchard. Around this time when Dusty Rhodes is feuding with the Horsemen, he has matches with Tully Blanchard. I saw a couple of them. They're okay. They fight. They feud over the NWA TV belt. There is times when there's a lot of stuff, man. I need to get this organized because I'm thinking about a lot of stuff that happened, but I'm just gonna mention them because they're not necessarily in order. Dusty Rhodes has he allies himself with other wrestlers to fight the Horsemen. I think one is where him, Nikita Koloff, the Road Warriors, and the Road Warriors manager Paul Ellering, they wrestle the Horsemen. They get J.J. Dillon again there. That's the one where Animal pick J.J. goes in. He's J.J. Dillon, the manager of the Horsemen. He's all fat, and he's in his trunk showing his legs and everything. And then I think Animal's want to pick some up and then drops him back. It's the cage. And then excuse me. J.J. Dillon, they drop him on his back because he's fat and old manager. And I think J.J. even says that they really messed up his shoulder dropping him back in that War Games game. That was all the War Games. Around there, there's a time when the Horsemen, they gang up on Dusty. Dusty's in the middle of the ring. And they I think it's Ole. Some of the Horsemen are holding down Dusty's legs and he's laying down on the mat in the ring. And then Ole Anderson jumps on his ankle, seriously injuring Dusty. Wrestlers come and save Dusty and they all run. And then later on, all the good guys, I don't know, it's the Road Warriors, maybe Magnum TA, and Dusty, they get revenge and they get Ole Anderson and they jump on. I don't remember. It's either Ole Anderson's arm or his leg. I think it was ankle as well. So he got some revenge there. there is a point in time where I mentioned Magnum TA. Magnum TA was with Dusty. They had each other's back against the Horsemen. Pretty entertaining stuff. Dusty's gonna feud with Ric Flair, and they trade belts every now and then. There's some good matches. Sometimes the Horsemen interrupt the matches. I did not like that. They go in there and cheat and help Ric Flair. Let me rewind back what I forgot before this. Before Dusty got into Jim Crockett Promotions, he did feud with Harley Race for the belt, and he beat Harley Race one time for the belt. It was an okay match. It's old stuff. Anyways, let's go back. I left off where Dusty was wrestling Ric Flair. Sometimes the Horsemen intrude. I believe Dusty beat Ric Flair for the belt one time. I think Ric Flair got it back. And then, if I remember correctly, Dusty defeats Ric Flair for the belt again. But then they call it that it was a technicality that Dusty Rhodes could excuse me. He can not win the belt because of interference or something like that. I thought it was BS. Excuse me, YouTube for my language. There's a time where Dusty's trying to beat Lex Luger for the belt. Let me put this down for this part. Dusty wrestles Lex Luger in a steel cage match. I did see it, and I don't remember too much of the match was a long time ago, but I did remember this. Dusty was wrestling Lex, and then he gets mad at Lex. He throws him the double fingers. I'm not gonna do it here, but he throws him two birds, two double fingers, and starts beating up Lex. I think he did beat him for the U.S. title. It was such a long time ago. At the end, Dusty Rhodes again ended up feuding with the Road Warriors. There's another shot. Dusty again, but I need to put this down again. He feuds with the Road Warriors, and who's gonna forget this scene? You got the Dusty. He's starting to. Excuse me. He's starting to talk bad with the Road Warriors. I don't know why I'm coughing. And they jump Dusty. And they have their shoulder pads with the spikes in them. Remember the Road Warriors? And they put them down. And then, so they jump Dusty. Dusty's on the floor. They lay him down in a sitting position. And the Road Warrior Animal gets a spike from his shoulder pads and starts poking, trying to poke Dusty's eye out. And he was there for a while, and then Hawk's in the back hazing them, telling them stuff. Paul Ellerding's there, and then some good guy rushes, jump the ring, and they run the Road Warriors away. I think that leads to, oh my gosh, I love this. I think this, to me, is a dream match. I think it's in a pay-per-view, and it's going to be Dusty Rhodes. No, let me put it this way. Start over. It's going to be the Road Warriors versus Dusty Rhodes and Sting. I saw the match. To me, it was a dream match. I liked it. They were wrestling really cool, good match. And then one of the parts I do remember I like is that I believe it was Hawk. He throws Sting to the corner and just stomps on him. Bam, bam, bam. This is Sting. This is the one where it's like bam, bam, stomp. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And I think that match, and I don't think anybody won that match. I think it was by disqualification, or it was a double count out or something like that. Dusty's now going to go to WWE. Not too long. NWA Jim Crockett Promotions going to go down the toilet. And what do we know for the WWE? They put Dusty Rhodes in polka dot Speedos, wrestling gear. I mean, come on, Vince McMahon. Leave the guy alone, man. He's legendary. And then Dusty Rhodes said, they could have put me in a diaper. I still would have done well. I still would have done well, baby. Dusty Rhodes ends up feuding with the $1 Million Man, along with Virgil. I like Virgil. People don't like Virgil, but he's very underrated. I think he was really funny. He was very entertaining. I like when I'm talking about Dusty Rhodes, but I'm just saying. Maybe I'll do a video on Virgil one of these days. Good thing he took away the $1 million belt from $1 million Man to get something out of it. Anyway, so Dusty gets in the feud with the $1 million Man. Pretty cool. He gets jumped, whatever, and then Dusty Rhodes' son jumps in, helps him, and all that. So I think they have a match with $1 million Man Virgil versus Dusty Rhodes and Dusty Rhodes' son Dustin Rhodes. Fun fact for you: if y'all don't know, they took away Dusty Rhodes' real name is Virgil, and what did they call $1 million Man's valet? Virgil. Funny. Fun fact for you too: when Virgil goes to WCW, they rename him Vincent. Some little inside jokes going on inside. Anyways, let's jump into the feud. Now we got the feud with the match. I believe it's a pay-per-view or something. I don't know if it's a pay-per-view or not. But it's a big show. It's going to be $1 Million Man and his valet Vincent in tag team with Dusty Rhodes and Cody. Now they wrestle, all that good stuff. It's a good match. And I think Dustin and Dusty win the match. But Vincent and the $1 Million Man, they get some cheap shots on Dusty Rhodes or Dustin first, and they start beating him in the corner, start kicking him, whatever. Or they kick him somewhere. They're kicking him, and Dusty Rhodes down as well. They cheap shot him as well. Pretty cool scene. I really got into it because Dusty Rhodes, being the father, covers Cody, so they won't beat him no more. Very, a father and son, lovely moment. Ha ha ha. And that's what ends up on there. I think I saw it on TV. I can't see pay-per-views because I'm poor and all that, especially back then. But I got all into it. I think it may have been a Saturday night main event on NBC. I don't like WWE that much, but that was a good match. That was a good thing. That was very entertaining. After that, well, I don't know if it was before or after, but Dusty Rhodes, they end up putting Sapphire with her. Sapphire is an African American woman. She's putting polka dots with Dusty Rhodes, and they're gonna feud with the $1 Million Man. And I believe $1 Million Man is gonna be. They're gonna put him with Sherry, Sensational Sherry, Scary Sherry. She has her name. And they're gonna have a feud. And I think they wrestle in a pay-per-view, so I can't see it, but I heard it. So it's going to be Dusty Rhodes, Sapphire, and Sherry and $1 Million Man. What they had said that they got Sapphire, that she used to drive like a limo or somewhere, drive the Russells around to get to arenas and stuff like that. That's what I heard. So that's very interesting. Like coffee to get. Sadly enough, Sapphire with Dusty Rhodes, she's gonna turn on Dusty Rhodes. She turns on Dusty Rhodes, and the $1 Million Man buys her off with money, and then $1 Million Man's like, "Ha ha! I can buy anybody." You see the Sapphire with, I don't know, jewelries or necklace or something, gold stuff, like nice clothes, and then she has like a gold chain. And I feel sorry for Dusty. They beat up his son, and then his new gal to accompany him to the ring. They she turns on him. She goes with $1 Million Man. That's sad. Other stuff that happened was especially in WWE, they said they would use Dusty Rhodes as he's a working man, and I just found out this information. They said that Dusty Rhodes wanted to lose weight at that time during the Cody and Sapphire stuff, and he wanted to lose weight, and then Vince McMahon said, "No, he's a working man. He needs to look like a regular person, like overweight." I'm gonna say about Dusty Rhodes. he was overweight, but he was extremely athletic. I mean, he do drop kicks and stuff like that. What I like is when he had an opponent and he do the flying elbow. It looked really nice. He did. I can't really do it with my arm. But he did the flip flop and fly. Boom. He elbowed someone in the head. It looked really cool. He put the figure four on Ric Flair a whole bunch of times. He would do this hits like this. Boom, boom, boom. When he had his opponent like all beat up there in the middle. Like if he was out of it, like Dusty Rhodes kind of knocked him out a little bit. He would do those moves. Boom, boom. He'd do the double punches to the chest. He'd go like this, and then come hit you, do like a little Muhammad Ali. I mean, Dusty Rhodes, he was pretty cool, even though he was super overweight. It's like if you knew him, you didn't know he's popular, you wouldn't know he could do all those things. Very athletic for a big man. Very athletic for a big man. Sadly, he passed away. Trying to remember what else I remember about the man. He was very entertaining. He started off in Florida, very entertaining, and came to as a face, and then went to Jim Crocker Promotions, NWA as a face, really entertaining. NWA, I mean, then he went to WWE, very entertaining. I mean, he's entertaining all around, man. He's a champion, 3-time world champion, and he might be a United States champion. I think he was a NWA TV champion. I forgot the part back in NWA Jim Crocker Promotions. Tully Blanchard had a valet. What was her name? I forgot her name. Anyway, she was a tall blonde woman. Tully Blanchard had this valet. It might come to me a little bit. And Dusty Rhodes wrestled Tully Blanchard, and they had an agreement. The agreement was if Dusty Rhodes beat Tully Blanchard, he would get his valet, and he beat Tully Blanchard, and he got the valet. That was pretty funny stuff. At some point, she would try to, when Dusty Rhodes had her, sometimes she tried to run away, and they get wrestlers to go get her and stuff like that. Pretty funny stuff. Trying to remember her name. I don't remember her name. Anyway, so Dusty Rhodes, he passed away, I think a couple of years back. He'll be well known. I think he had Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling. He had his own company at one time. So kudos to the late Dusty Rhodes. All respect. He entertained me a lot. I respect him so much. He had a lot of fans. And that concludes my video on Dusty Rhodes. I hope you liked it. You guys, I'm trying to have this channel grow. I know there's pro wrestling fans that want to speak their mind about pro wrestling, especially Jim Crocker Promotions. And before that, where are you guys? I'm looking for you. I will advertise on YouTube Shorts. I will try to get you. I have live streams. You guys can speak your mind on pro wrestling chat. I only have like one person, and she's not really a wrestling fan. She talks a little about it, but I appreciate her being there. And shout out to her. And I'm looking forward for you guys to come into my pro wrestling chat, and come join me and talk to wrestling, man. We'll have some good times. You can inform me, and I can inform you what I know. So that's gonna conclude my review, my video of Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. I could do is talk a little bit. And there is this video, the Dusty Rhodes story. It's old, man. I bought this like 10 years ago or whatever. So I'm going to conclude my video on Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. Please think about, if you like my video, like my content, please think about subscribing to my channel, Pro Wrestling Chat. And I'm going to leave you with this. The world will never be a perfect place, but we can all make it better. Till next time, my name's Alberto, a.k.a. Destroyer 48. I love you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.